Okay.
Hejsan! Hejsan is greetings from Stockholm, which is equivalent to ni hao in Chinese. We are a bunch of students from KTH here to present about the Grundfos branding strategy. So the agenda for today is to have a DDAT tool, which is diagnosis, decisions, analysis, and reality tests. So let's just go into diagnosis first. What is diagnosis? Diagnosis is finding the problems that Grundfos faces. In this case, to increase the sales volume and to have a better branding strategy. So we think the brand positioning confusion between the two different sectors, thereby the wastewater and the domestic building services need to be sorted out. The strategy for advancing in a saturated competitive market, which I'll be dealing with in the task, should also be dealt into. The other one is the localization in the Chinese customer context. We think localization in a huge country like China with different cultures plays a huge role in penetration as such. And finally, the techniques for strategic branding to increase branding internally and externally, thereby generating more sales. To dwell deep into it, let's look into this model. It's called the technology adoption lifecycle. We think Grundfos in this technology adoption lifecycle is placed at the indefinitely elastic middle. What's that? If you look at this model, we have a caste, which means the companies that start growing might fall into this caste. But Grundfos, on the other hand, has hit the mature market, but it has missed the huge money here. So what's the plus in the infinitely elastic middle? It is part of a mature market, which means there are a lot of different players offering similar or complementary services. There is no barrier in adoption of technology, and people are aware of the need for such products. But what's the minus? The huge dollars, as I said, has been missed, because Grundfos is right here and the money is right here, which means they have crossed the trace, but they have still not got a huge market share, nor have they hit huge money. And the market is saturated with different players. So ideally, a person buying a pump for domestic services looks for functionality, looks for quality, looks for price, and also needs good recommendations or a positive network effect, and something that matches his or her lifestyle. And this is the branding or the marketing mix that we think Grundfos should focus on. And I'll pass it over to my friend to do the decision side of things.
Thank you, Mahesh. Now we come to the decision phase. And here are strategies we strongly recommended first. We should find a very strategic partner, which was the Chinese government, and who have strong power, who have big consumer power as well as the influence. And second, we can develop better port services and customer support. And the next very important strategy we are recommending is to bring a product portfolio which was having in line with activities that bound people as well as the environment. And for instance, Olympic Games is promoting green technology in Beijing 2008. And if we do some activities which was promoting the similar theme, which can very much favorable our strategy. And we can use the successful cases as well, which we can use them as references in advertisements, and which we can connect the customers emotionally, which is very important. Now,
Grundfos needs to differentiate itself from the rest of competitors. How does it do that? It's by defining the whole product. By defining the whole product, the emphasis in the installation and maintenance. They also provide online, offline, and pre-installation assessment and the guarantee, which are very valuable. And they provide an experience such as comparable of when Apple products. When you buy an Apple product, you don't just buy a laptop or an iPod. You buy the whole experience, and you get immersed in this ecosystem. When you buy a Grundfos pump, you don't buy just a pump. You buy a new way of life, a new experience. Now, how we came to this decision, we will explain it in the analysis, thanks to Mahesh.
Yeah, thank you, Geries. The analysis, we think, as he said, to have focus on the whole product, we need different pieces of the puzzle to be filled. And that's where we think the partner comes into use. We have defined two kinds of partnerships. One is the knowledge partner, and the other one is the revenue partner. A knowledge partner is one that helps increase your product portfolio or helps increase the R&D, while the revenue partner is one that can contribute directly to the sales. And together they form something called a strategic partner, and that's where, as my friend pointed out, the Chinese government, for instance, could be a fantastic strategic partner because they increase sales, being the biggest consumer of things with the largest population in the world, and can also be a fantastic tactical resource with putting us onto the right resources. And in this process, we want to build an ecosystem with different players that can fill the puzzle. For instance, the real estate agents, if they have a partnership with Grundfos, whereby every real estate agent or every building that comes out from a particular real estate agent has Grundfos pumps installed by default. Or similarly, with design architects who make the buildings at the end of the day have a partnership with Grundfos, whereby houses or condominiums or Chinese buildings have Grundfos pumps with these design architects. Or it could be local pump providers, for instance, who could provide the technical R&D and know-how for Grundfos as such to advance itself in its product offering. And the strategy over here is to find that beachhead through these partners. So to build the ecosystem, thereby finding the beachhead, and this beachhead, for instance, could be based on geographical location. For instance, it could be just in one region or one province in China. It could be based on buying behavior. It could be like the internet or the mobile phones, whereby it is more focused on the young consumers as such. Or it could be on specific projects like condominiums or housing projects or in the rural areas. And most importantly, we think, which is directly in line with the CSR activities of Grundfos, is to have renewable energy sources. And this again comes back to having knowledge partners who can help us build the renewable energy source products. And to just take the discussion further from the niche market or to focus on the beachhead using the bowling alley strategy, where these are the pins to be knocked down, and this is where Grundfos comes in terms of strategy. And the old buildings, the rural areas, and the regional pump manufacturers form base one of the strategy, while the construction site owners or the real estate agents, the Chinese government, and new distribution channels like mobile or internet for advertisements form the kingpin or the linchpin of the strategy. I'll pass it over to Geries to do the reality test.
Now, life is not a fairy tale, and things go wrong. And that's what, here is the reality test. We have defined some risks that can happen, and here are the mitigation strategy contingency plan. Also, we have identified the probability and severity of each to happen. Let's take, for example, the resistance of construction site owners to not getting consuming the pumps. So our mitigation strategy is to educate them, show them how they work, and also they have this presence of international brand. That's why the probability to happen is this is low. But if it happens, it has a theoretic medium. So we have to be ready for that. So here are the contingency plan is to look for another niches. Let's take another example. Government refusing to use the Grundfos products. Now again, we show them how great are these products and give them a reference. The probability of that happening is high, meaning that the government may be reluctant to a new entrant, international entrant. So to mitigate the severity, we have a contingency plan that it's partnered with international organizations like UNICEF that will install pumps in special places and get to a market that others don't have. Now we'll summarize our.
Okay, after the deep dive analysis, I hope all jurors get something. And here I'm going to summarize. And from our points, and this is very important, that we're going to find a partner, the strategic partner, which can add value to the ecosystem. And we need to build a very strong internal environment, and we do a very internal branding strategy, which can inspire our employees to create more inspirations and more sales. And we also strongly recommend that we found a very suitable volume operational model, which we have to make efforts to looking for it, which can bring us exponential growth afterwards. And that's pretty much it. And thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
About 9 minutes.
Good man.
Yeah.